I mean, this is a remarkable year. It really is. Like, this is something people shouldn't take for granted. This is something people should cherish and embrace. I said it at my post-game press conference. I don't know if there'll ever be a year where we overachieve more than we have this year.
Kenny, we appreciate you obviously taking the time. A lot going on. Hate week, obviously a giant weekend after beating BYU. Before we get into all of kind of what's ahead, I want to talk about the extensions for the coordinators. Obviously, this is something that you had brought up last week in your press conference when you were asked about your own contract negotiations and all that stuff. Just what's the importance for you and then, of course, for the program to be able to lock in both Brian Ward and Marcus Arroyo for the next several seasons?
Yeah, it's huge. It shows the direction from President Crow to Dr. Run to Graham Rossini about how they're, the importance of keeping this thing together. And like I've said all along, consistency is what builds programs and what prevents things from being a flash in the pan. So it's huge for the program to get those guys locked in.
Coach, you mentioned continuity and keeping people around. With this season specifically, there's a lot of, turnover on the roster, transfers coming in. And of course, this is a rivalry that's the oldest in college football. What are the challenges to getting maybe some people who aren't as ingrained to ASU versus U of A bought into Hate Week?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That is a challenge. And, I think next year, next year, I already talked with DJ, we're going to do like a intro to Arizona State versus, the school down south. So when you get here sometime in the spring, you're going to learn the history of the game, because the one thing I did last year that I don't like is, I spent so much time educating the people on the game and we distracted from the actual game, right? Because I was a passionate fan. Like, you guys better understand how important this is. Like, this is bigger than just a normal game. And it's like, they shouldn't be worrying about that going into the game. They should be preparing for the game. And so we're definitely going to do a better job moving forward in terms of educating our guys as an onboarding process for this game in the off season. That way, when we get here, they're like, that's what we've been talking about for 6 months. So we're definitely going to improve on that here moving forward with the changing of college football.
Coach, obviously a lot to play for on Saturday against Arizona and then potentially the postseason as well. But kind of looking back over the last couple of weeks, you guys have done a phenomenal job just imposing your will in the first half. Kansas State, and then, of course, the BYU game as well. And then, of course, you had the Wildcats start to claw back at the end. Same thing with the Cougars on Saturday. Just where do you feel like this team can kind of improve in terms of just continuing to impose their will all the way through the game?
Yeah, I think when we're confident, all right, we're starting fast, and then we get hit, it's like, whoa, you weren't supposed to hit us. Like, we've been hitting you. And we haven't responded to that yet. We've responded to somebody coming out and hit us in our face. Texas State, right? We responded to that. Okay, UCF, we responded to that. The 3 games that we've really come out swinging, and we've connected a few times, Mississippi State, and in the last 2 weeks, we haven't responded when they hit us. And we got to be better at that. We got to be better at having that emotional high of playing well, then getting hit in the face, and then going and playing well again, right? We just get in that little bit of a lull. And we've been twice, 2 games in a row, putting a game away on offense where we could have made it a 4-possession game. Back-to-back weeks, we've been that close. Back-to-back weeks, we've given up over 90-yard drives in the second half when if we just get off the field, there's less than 10% chance of scoring. If we just get off the field, the game is essentially over. So I just think it goes back to that. We got to get used to getting hit after we've been, doing the hitting early.
So you guys have clearly exceeded expectations. It has shifted from the beginning of the season where the Big 12 media poll picked you guys to finish last in the Big 12. Right now, you're at the very top. How do you continue to elevate your play week after week when you've already exceeded set expectations?
I mean, those expectations were people that don't matter as expectations. We've always just talked about the next game. Like, the most important game is the one you're playing. Because if you win it, then the next game's more important. And then that's the most important game you'll ever play. Like, that's been the message, is the most important game you'll ever play should be your next game. Because you should make it matter. and then you repeat it, and then it's the most important game you've ever played again. And like that's just been our message the entire year. Just be successful, be the very best version of yourself with everything you do. I could care less about the expectations, care less where we're ranked, care less where we picked, care less about the Big 12 tiebreakers and all that, right? What I can care about is your Circle K thing in the back, because they also did an NIL deal with Sam Levitt, so big Circle K supporter.
Our marketing guy is gonna love that.
Oh yeah, that's huge. So you mentioned early on that you were kind of born in the hate, right? Like this game this week means a lot to you. It's very clear that this program means a lot for you. So I want you to maybe take off the coaching hat. What would it mean to Kenny Dillingham, the Sun Devil fan, if you were in the stands watching a team like this season play?
Well, it's 12 months of bragging rights. Like you either have to listen to the person who lives next to you for 12 months or they have to listen to you. So it means a lot because it's worth 12 months. Doesn't matter what happens throughout the entire year. One game gives you 12 months of bragging rights versus half of the people in the city, right? Or not half, but a good majority of the people in the city. So what it means is you can, walk around with a little bit of confidence when you're around, your buddies who chose to go down south or whatever that looks like for 12 months. So this is, I like to say there's 2 seasons. We're finished with one of the seasons. Now this is the next season, and it's a 1-game season.
Absolutely. Coach, just 2 more questions and we'll get you out of here. Obviously, Sam Levitt, one of the transfers this past season, feels like he's developed and grown every single week. But obviously, as the head coach, you've had that first meeting with him that lasted hours and hours. And obviously, now you just got one more regular season game. How have you seen Sam mature from when he first walked into the door to right now in late November?
Yeah, I think he always had the confidence, but he was trying to figure out, how do I have my personality, which is an alpha? But nobody knows I'm good yet. Because an alpha who's not very good is not going to get good responses from players. Like I show up, I'm a freshman, and I'm saying, get 15 yards on your dig. Probably not the best way to show up. So his maturity was really the emotional maturity of being able to say, listen, I got to stay quiet, put in the work. Then as I got better, I can show more leadership. I can be more passionate. I can be more about me. And I think our team has slowly bought in to him because he didn't just come in here and he wasn't the Sam Levitt who's headbutting people on day 1. And now we're in week 11 and he's headbutting people and they love it because that's who Sam is. But he couldn't be that from day 1. So I would say the maturity or where has he grown, it's that leadership throughout this process and that buy-in from his teammates.
Absolutely. Coach, it's not only rivalry week, but a big holiday. You got Thanksgiving this week. I want to get you out of here on a really positive note. Just what is Kenny Dillingham, the Arizona State head football coach, thankful for this year?
I'm thankful for everything. I'm thankful for being the head coach here. I'm thankful for our players, how hard they're working for. I'm thankful for my wife for putting up with, all the hours I work, constantly working. Thankful for my family and thankful to just be a part of this program and this state and the fans that were here last weekend and all of it. I mean, this is a remarkable year. It really is. Like, this is something people shouldn't take for granted. This is something people should cherish and embrace. I said it at my post-game press conference. I don't know if there'll ever be a year where we overachieve more than we have this year because I hope our expectations are never as low as they were this year. So I don't know if we can ever overachieve more than this team's overachieved. And I think that's what makes this year unique and special. So I'm just thankful for these guys and this program and this city, for you guys, everybody involved, for just caring about ASU football at a high enough level for it to matter. And that is awesome.
Kenny, we appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck on Saturday and the rest of the season, man.
I appreciate it. Go Devils.